Good day and welcome to another episode of your Money Moment, the podcast where we unpack stories behind your rands and cents. Today we're diving into a topic that doesn't always grab headlines, but has far-reaching consequences: low inflation. You might think low inflation is a good thing, and in many ways it is. But in South Africa, the story is a little bit more complicated. So grab a coffee and let's talk about the hidden costs of a low inflation cycle in our economy. Recent stats shows that the inflation rate in September was 3.8%, which make it the lowest rate since the pandemic. So let's start with a quick refresher. Inflation is the rate at which prices for goods and services rise. High inflation erodes the value of your money, making it harder to afford the basics. But low inflation or even deflation, where prices actually fall, comes with its own set of challenges. And these challenges are especially unique in a country like South Africa. Right now, inflation in South Africa is relatively low compared to historical standards. The Reserve Bank works hard to keep it within their target range of 3 to 6%. But what happens when inflation stays low for too long? Let's unpack the effects on you, the South African consumer, and the broader economy. So low inflation might lead to stagnant growth in salaries. Businesses don't feel the pressure to increase prices, and that sounds great, right? But here's the kicker. If prices don't rise, companies are often reluctant to raise salaries too. That's because they're not making more money to pass on to employees. This means your annual pay bump might be smaller than you expect, or non-existent. Now think about the knock-on effect. Without significant wage growth, it becomes harder to save, pay off debt, or invest in your future. For South Africans already feeling the squeeze by higher living costs, this is a tough pill to swallow. Next, let's talk about debt, something many South Africans are familiar with. In a typical economy with moderate inflation, the real value of your debt erodes over time. Essentially, your old debt feels smaller as your income grows and prices rise. But in a low inflation environment, that doesn't happen. Your debt stays just as heavy while your income struggles to keep the pace. For households carrying credit card debt, car loans or home loans, this can be suffocating. And it's not just individuals, government debt is also impacted. Low inflation means higher real interest payments on the billions borrowed to fund infrastructure and social programs. Next, the impact on your savings and investments. Here's another curveball. Low inflation can make saving and investing less rewarding. Why, you may ask? Because interest rates usually stay low too. This is great if you're borrowing, but not so great if you're trying to grow your money. For South Africans saving in fixed deposits or money market accounts, the returns are barely keeping up with inflation. And what about pension funds? These funds rely on higher inflation to push up asset prices. When inflation is low, it becomes harder for them to meet their targets, potentially leaving retirees with less income in the long run. For businesses, low inflation can be a mixed bag. On the one hand, it keeps costs down, but on the other hand, it reduces pricing power, making it harder to grow revenue. Small businesses, which form the backbone of our economy, are especially vulnerable. If they can't raise prices or pay their employees more, it stifles growth. And let's not forget exports. If South Africa's inflation is lower than that of our trading partners, our goods become relatively expensive on the global market. This could hurt industries like mining, agriculture, and other industries which rely heavily on exports. So what's the key takeaway? Low inflation might seem like a blessing, but it comes with hidden costs, especially in a country like South Africa, where the economy and economic inequalities are already stark. Whether it's stagnant wages, heavier debt, or underperforming investments, the effects ripple through every aspect of our lives. The key, as always, is balance. A moderate inflation rate can stimulate growth without eroding your purchasing power. As we navigate these cycles, understanding the impact of your finances is the first step to staying ahead. That's it for today's episode of Your Money Moment. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to share it with friends and subscribe for more financial insights tailored to South Africans. Until next time, keep your money working for you.
When you're navigating through life's big events, like buying a home, starting a family, or approaching retirement, you need sound and impartial financial advice. Mauritz Oberholzer, a financial advisor at Stonehouse Capital, specializes in personal financial planning. Visit mauritzoberholzer.co.za or call 082-774-1996. For practical and easy-to-understand advice and tips, don't miss your Money Moment with Mauritz Oberholzer, Thursday mornings at 10 on E-Radio.